if in the same draft, they take an edge rusher who just turns out to be solid, right? 8, 10 sacks a year. You pick up his fifth-year option, may never make a flipping Pro Bowl. That player is going to make $100 million at the rate we're going right now. How can anybody spin this argument any other way? That we're going to take a linebacker that's going to be the Luke Kuechly of the last 10 years. You guys will see. It's going to work out. No one has that evidence. We have data to support that it would be an egregious decision to do this. Mr. Campbell out of Alabama is a hell of a football player. He also, though, is coming off injury and just had surgery not too long ago. And you asked Fran Duffy the other day when he was on with us, Jihaad Campbell, like, he's going to fall, right? Potentially out of the first round. And Fran still thinks he'll be a first-round pick, but probably late first round. And there's a segment of the fan base that wants another linebacker. Have we not been here before? Have people forgot how much this franchise has hurt us? We finally got on track the last 2 years. You guys want to go back in time? It's all fun and games on draft night.
It's going to be different, Johnny. It's going to be different this time. No, don't buy it. You're crushing the value of 16th overall pick by taking an off-ball linebacker who also had shoulder surgery post-combine.
Oh.
Timeline, that's something you're trying to figure out. Like, those are too many red flags for me. One, the positional value is not there. It would take a special type of player, and I agree with Johnny, and I agree with mostly everybody that's evaluated Jihaad Campbell's game. It's good. It's really good. He's going to be a great pro, but is he a guy that's going to be the type of game changer? Is he going to be somebody that's going to evolve into the Roquan Smiths, into the Fred Warners of the world? I don't know if you can definitively say that. And with, the red flags that have arisen the last month, I just think it's just, you take him off your board. You just can't, if he falls because of the injury and he's there at 47, yes, then have the conversation. I think it's easy, right? Unlikely that happens. But 16 is far too rich. It was far too rich when he was healthy and ready to go. I mean, the guy looked like an absolute stud at the combine. I mean, he showed up and showed out. He absolutely did. We saw him. He was part of the group when we were watching there live, and he was one of the most impressive guys. But I just don't think that you would get the productivity, the impact that you would by leaning into the edge rushing group, the defensive linemen, or even like pivoting and taking a top, different, premier position that is on the board that's valued more, especially in the next contract, more so than off-ball linebacker.
Like, we just had a conversation with everybody in the chat about how they value that position. They're paying a backup part-timer to start for them and call their defense this year. How do you then get to 0 to 60? Actually, they're going to take the number one off-ball linebacker, 16th overall. What? How does that even add up? They took an off-ball linebacker in their first draft with Austin Ford in the 5th round, Owen Papo. And I don't know if he can play or not, but undrafted, late, undervalued, small, converted safeties, free agents. Like, that's what they want to do. Mack Wilson Sr. was an afterthought by the people in Cleveland and New England. Like, let's look at the Campbell breakdown here, because again, this is not a knock on the player or certainly the person, but I mean, 5 sacks last year. He's got a nose for the football, 3 turnovers, a pick, 2 forced fumbles. He's got the size. He's cut up. I mean, he looks, you want him on your team. Of course you do. 6'3", 240. I think he's under 240 now. He's like 235. He's a freak show. He is an ultimate freak show, but he's hurt and he plays a position that's been devalued. I've made an argument on this show. I think it's the biggest devalued position in the NFL, more so than running backs. A running back could have won the MVP this year. More so than guards. Guards are getting paid $100 million in free agency. Tell me a position, save for maybe safety, that's undervalued more in the NFL right now. You can't, Bo.
No, you can't. It's tough to find one. And like, this isn't an argument against the nightmare, past that this organization has with this position, right? I mean, even though it's very prevalent, it's top of mind every time you say off ball. It's a 4-letter word, and people will throw hands at you if you even suggest it. And then, like, for whatever reason, they start coming back to it and say, well, he's a freak show. Look at him, 6'3", 240. The athleticism, the speed. Can you imagine? Comes from one of the top programs, NFL factories in the college ranks, but it's still just this is devaluing what you can get at 16. It is. And when you look at where the Arizona Cardinals, their main weakness, it hasn't been that level of the defense. It's been up front. And what is this draft talent rich with? Defensive front seven players. And I know that you include off-ball linebackers there, but they're not the premium positions that you value as first-round picks. Like, just looking at the NFL draft and, as far as the off-ball linebackers that went, I'm looking at last year's draft. Most of them are edge rushers, right? We didn't have one off-ball linebacker go in the 2024 draft. In 2023,
we have a graphic coming up.
Yeah.
To show you how poor it's been for other teams. Let's pull it up here. First round, this is last year. So this is through last year. Okay. And you mentioned 2024. Did we not have a first round off-ball linebacker? This is dating back to 2014 through 2023. Austin I think he's from The Athletic, does a good job. Basically broke down, are they good? Did they get their fifth-year option picked up? Not did they get a second contract?
Yeah.
Did the team see value in giving them their fifth-year option, which is skewed based on the position? They're not getting the same fifth-year option as quarterbacks. 4 out of about 20 guys on this list got it. Okay. By the way, Leighton Vander Esch, disappointment since then. Shaq Thompson's been okay. Ryan Shazier, unfortunately, had a career-threatening incident. Anthony Barr was like the only good one on this list. Everybody else, I'm going to tell you right now, Davis for the Commanders, not happening. Zaven Collins didn't get his. The Jags and the
Davis
Packers
got released. Davis got released. Yeah.
He's not even on the team.
Yeah.
Then
Collins got his declined.
Yep.
And he re-signed as an edge rusher. They flipped positions. This is it's a mess. There's
those
just
last
not
3. The teams are undecided, which means guess what? Probably not going to happen.
And Lloyd he's had a pretty decent and productive career for the Jags, right? Quay Walker's been, up and down. Jack Campbell, really, you can't justify that pick that the Lions made. I mean, they've been fantastic drafting, even when they reach and they go out and they get, running back 12th overall, and people crush him for it, including this show. They throw it in their face. But I don't think they're throwing Jack Campbell in your face right now. And I would be shocked to see if he gets his fifth-year option picked up. It's just the batting average here, it's too low. The value's not there. It's just how much more info do you need?
Well, and also, we just went through free agency, right? And we talked about it. Like, guards are getting paid. Everybody said Josh Sweat, bell of the ball, 8 sacks got paid, right? Milton Williams, D tackle, got paid. Who's getting paid at off-ball linebacker of note? Fred Warner got a 2-year, Dre Greenlaw got a 2-year deal because he was part of a generational defense. A nice little 2-year contract. That should tell you everything. If the Cardinals can take a player at 16 that the league has deemed not valuable when they hit free agency, like a safety, right? If Campbell hits free agency in 4 or 5 years, good chance he's not going to get a big contract, right? Might get a nice little contract, 4 years, $40 million. If in the same draft, they take an edge rusher who just turns out to be solid, right? 8-10 sacks a year. You pick up his fifth-year option, may never make a flipping Pro Bowl. That player is going to make $100 million at the rate we're going right now. How can anybody spin this argument any other way? That we're going to take a linebacker that's going to be the Luke Kuechly of the last 10 years. You guys will see it's going to work out. No one has that evidence. We have data to support that it would be an egregious decision to do this.
Roquan Smith remains the only off-ball linebacker to have signed a $100 million deal and he plays for the Ravens. That was after Chicago kind of botched that. They didn't want to pay him. They didn't pick up his fifth year, right? And they traded him away. And
then they paid Tremaine Edmonds.
They paid TJ Edwards. They paid 2 guys.
Bad.
Right?
Tremaine Edmonds, by the way, that's the pro comp that's floating around for Jihad Campbell out of Alabama. You want that? Is that what you want? Pick 16? Solid player.
The guy TJ Edwards, Jonathan Gannon took as an undrafted free agent from Wisconsin and turned him into the top linebacker on his respective free agent market.
this is something this franchise would have done 5-7 years ago. You cannot convince me. The time we've spent around Gannon, what we know about Monty Ossenfort, that they would entertain this. It's just the injury almost makes it like that's comforting in a weird way, because you definitely can't sell it off the injury. Now, if you're picking 28 to 32 and you're like, we just think this is great value and we're the Eagles, those teams can afford to do that.
Mm-hmm.
When the Cardinals are repping the worst front four defensively that I've seen in the better part of a half decade, that everybody laughs at, and you want to run it back with another off. And I get it. Everybody's argument is, well, he does a bunch of stuff. Awesome. You know who else did a bunch of stuff? Isaiah Simmons, who, by the way, was not on that list because he was considered a safety, even though we all know that he played linebacker, right? So it makes that list even more egregious, right? So let's take a look at it. Speaking of Steve Campbell, shield your eyes.
Oh, no.
The Cardinals' history of off-ball linebackers just within the first 3 rounds from 2013 through now. Let's take a look at it, Damon. Damon put together this graphic. Again, Kevin Minter, 2013, second-round pick, bust. Dayon Buchanan, first-rounder, 2014, underwhelming, converted safety, no fifth-year no second contract. Can't remember if he got his 5th-year option.
He did get his 5th year, yeah.
He did, yep. Hassan Reddick. They botched his development, tried to make him an off-ball linebacker because they were so obsessed with it. Should have never left Arizona. Should have been a pass rusher from day one. No 5th-year option left. We know the rest of that. We also know the rest of this. Isaiah Simmons, jack of all trades, master of none. Top 10, maybe the worst draft pick in recent memory for this franchise, save for Josh Rosen. Mega bust. Zaven Collins, off-ball linebacker at pick 16 out of Tulsa, has Gannon saving his career, got him a nice little extension as a backup edge rusher. You guys like what you see? You guys, you want to party with this group?
Johnny, stop peeling my eyelids open and make me look at this horrible list.
Let's add more to this list.
Oh, man. Kevin Minter, I remember waiting for him to do anything. He was just he was a jag. And Dayon Buchanan, like I remember they picked up his 5th-year option, and then he never got another deal after that, did he? And it was just
they went to the 2 of them went to Tampa. I think won Super Bowls as special teamers.
I mean, you're looking at it. It's like it's not a great draft beyond Jihad Campbell. I know there's a lot of like people like Carson Schlesinger from UCLA. It's like, okay, if you want to take him late day 2, that's fine. But you can throw like Jalen Walker in there, but Jalen Walker, like a lot of the scouts, a lot of the people believe he's got upside off the edge. That's where he separates himself from Jihaad Campbell, who's strictly off ball.
I have to be convinced like that's the play if they take Jalen Walker. Like somebody will have to come, because when they took Zaven Collins, I thought the plan that night was they were going to play him an edge rusher, and then Keim came out that night in the presser and said, we're going to have these 2 big, tall trees in the middle of the field, Isaiah Simmons and Zaven Collins. And then he brought up Navarro Bowman and Patrick Willis. And it just...
Damon's laughing. That he actually said that. He also gave him the starting job.
Yes.
And they had... who
Jordan
was the
Hicks.
Linebacker?
Jordan Hicks, right?
Yeah, Jordan Hicks. And
he was
like,
way better.
Zaven's going to start. And Jordan Hicks was like... We're going to have 2 big trees out there, man. And then, and that's exactly how they played. They couldn't move, couldn't cover.
That's like you want Dick Butkus as your middle linebacker. This is, 1970s NFL. And it's like, this guy's a monster of a man. It's not how things work.
I get like, I can overdo it with the Scatterboo stuff because of the need and the position and that kind of thing. I feel like the people who are critical of Scatterboo on day 2 to this franchise, if you also entertain Campbell at pick 16, I don't want to hear from you. You have lost any kind of validity with me. I don't want Cam Scatterboo as a playmaker on day 2 and the marketing cachet and the eyeballs it would bring this franchise to use a day 2 pick on him. But I would like to take an injured off-ball linebacker, please, at pick 16. Cut it out. And I know it's not our audience specifically here. I need to see that the Athletic Guys tweet one more
No.
time. Let's pull up one
No.
more time the Athletic Guys tweet. No, the other one. Let me see.
Oh.
That one's bad enough. Look at that. You guys like what you see there? Shaq Thompson, that was like 20 years ago. That it's a dead position. It's dead. Bury it. Don't draft him in the first round. It's not worth it. I know they look fantastic in shorts at the combine. We all, hell yeah. I used to love, what was that? The cowboy collar, middle linebacker. Hell yeah. Zach Thomas style, Damon. We all wanted those guys.
If this is your spring training, you're going down to the minor leagues. You're not making the big league roster if you have a batting average like this. It's not good enough. And there's not enough positional value. Too much of a crapshoot, and the value is just not there. And there's 5 people that you should be considering over taking a guy at that position.
Like Will Johnson is not my preference at pick 16. I would move heaven and earth to take Will Johnson over Campbell from Alabama. I would sell my soul for that because he plays a premium position, right? He plays cornerback, and those guys are making $100+ million on their second deal or $80 million. And the Cardinals need an outside corner.